Good afternoon. This is SME on Point and I am Liabo Setho. Good afternoon. Today we're talking about township businesses, which are also often referred to as kasi businesses. Running a business in the township has its challenges, but it also has its opportunities. That's if you look hard enough. Millicent Nyembe found the perfect opportunity to keep her community safe when she started Nyembe Waste Management 7 years ago. Camera operator Masabata Ralitabo and I visited her in Rankuwa, Pretoria, and this is her story.
My name is Millicent Nyembe. I'm the owner and the founder of Nyembe Waste Management. We are based in Rankuwa industrial site in a township.
Millicent Nyembe started this business in 2012. Armed with only a computer and a deep need to teach her community about safe waste disposal and management, Nyembe saw a gap in the market. Her business deals mainly with cleaning crime scenes and transportation of healthcare risk waste.
When I think of us as black people, we don't know more about healthcare risk waste. We don't know more about cleaning crime scenes. We don't know more about the contamination of any areas. Then I said, let me just open it into our township.
Nyembe recalls the difficulties of entering a mainly white and male-dominated industry. She initially wanted to open a waste treatment facility, but soon learned that she would need 23 million rands for this.
I had nothing. So they said to me, the best thing that I can do is become a transporter to transport the waste to a treatment facility. Then I did that when I started. I went for contracts. I remember I got a contract from Aponya 911 to decontaminate their ambulances and take their healthcare risk waste. And I didn't even have money to go and collect that waste, even transport I didn't even have. Then I decided that I go and hire a vehicle to go and do that work, and I've done that. And then that's when I started the business.
Starting a business in the township, just like starting anywhere else, requires in-depth research and analysis to get off the ground and to remain sustainable. Nyembe Waste Management now employs more than 8 people and is currently contracted to a number of waste generators. Despite her achievements, Nyembe says her hard work doesn't stop here.
I am not aggressive on my marketing. I think that's why maybe I'm growing a little bit slower. I think I must get into too much on social media. Maybe it will help me to, like Instagram and Twitter. Maybe it will help the business to grow.
Nyembe encourages aspiring entrepreneurs to start with what they have. She says the township is their oyster. So our guest today is Bulelani Balala. They also call him Mr. Get Things Done. He's with the Township Entrepreneurs Alliance. That is. Bulelani, thank you to SME on Point. I'm inspired by Millicent's story. What do you think of her story?
I think for me it's a story of courage. I mean, being able to run that sort of a business in the township is a milestone in itself, because the age-old narrative has always been that the only thing you find in townships are taverns, squatter shops, and so on and so forth. So this is really disruptive,
So tell me about the Township Entrepreneurs Alliance. She says that in the insert that one of the things that she struggles with is marketing aggressively, so especially using social media platforms. How can the Alliance help her, and what should she do to go to the next level?
So, I mean, Township Entrepreneurs Alliance is really an organization that focuses on informing, educating, and equipping entrepreneurs with skills necessary to grow their businesses, right? Now, this is Township and Rural, and one of the key things that I think would benefit her business is that we run a masterclass on digital skills. So she mentioned social media, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, but what would actually happen there, they would then have an instructor who would actually help her identify which platforms and how to utilize them, and who in her organization she could actually equip to run that functionally for her.
So earlier on you spoke about the era of spaza shops and taverns. Is it over that era, or should we be looking into dynamically new businesses and new ideas such as waste management companies, or can we still do the taverns and the spaza shops differently, innovatively?
We definitely should be doing them more different and more innovative. And I think one of the biggest innovations in that particular space is really being able to collaborate. We have seen the age-old individuals puzzle shop model not working because it becomes too expensive for you to be able to buy stock in large consignments.
Yeah.
So being able to group yourselves in then gives you the power to be able to become a distribution point, not necessarily even just for the large retailers or the large wholesalers, but directly with the actual manufacturers at the end of the day.
Yeah. So one other thing that I've also observed, I'm from Ekasi as well, as you can see, I'm from Foslo. You find that a lot of people, they would have someone selling cabbages and someone selling eggs and someone selling fruit. And 500 meters away from that, someone else is doing the same thing. And another 500 meters, someone else is doing the same thing. This is one of the failings, isn't it?
So my thing around that is, think of the mall theory, right? In any fashion season, you have, 50 retailers selling clothes, almost selling the same type of chinos.
Yeah.
But different people are buying from different shops, and some of them keep in business. Yes, the idea of changing the product will get you more money, but I really think that innovative element there goes in and around the rapport, the brand rapport, and how people engage with your particular product. Because I think in that particular space, we then focus more on the fact that people buy from people that they like. So being able to build that rapport in and around your product and your brand then goes a long way in moving it forward.
Great. So using the 5 tips that you've sent to me, I want us to arm aspiring entrepreneurs to essentially get things done. Let's take a look at the tips that you have put together for aspiring entrepreneurs and how they can break through the whole township entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship or business mind. You say firstly, adjust your mindset. Why?
It's a mindset thing, right? It's a 2mm shift. I believe that success is a 2mm shift. It's the innate ability to understand that there's a psychological factor in you being able to access the success that you want at the end of the day. So being someone who's been confined into the township for long spaces of time, you actually start to think that that is all that is to business and that is all that is to life. So being able to disrupt yourself by other new experiences, learning, watching, listening to podcasts and videos gets you to the next level.
Beautiful. Let's take a look at the second one. Start with what you have.
I think it's something that the lady also alluded to. I believe in that. Start with what you have at the level at which you have, but also don't negate to equip yourself for the next level, because you need to understand one thing. People start businesses according to their level of their education and their experience. So upskilling yourself helps you to then become competitive on a large or medium-sized level, and so that you can get to the global perspective.
Does this also mean that a lot of people, when you ask them about why they don't start a business, they'll say they don't have money? So when I don't have money, but I have a skill or I have a talent to do something, do you mean that I should use that talent or skill? Yeah,
butter. When someone says, when an entrepreneur says that I can't start because of money, I believe it's a lack of articulation in terms of what the actual product is. I believe that everyone is gifted with something, and you can actually butter with the people that have what you need.
All right, let's take a look at the third tip. Remember why you started. Why is this important?
Now, this is what gets you going.
Right.
I'd like to think that a lot of entrepreneurs are fixated in the how. The model, your business model, should be fixated on the how of the business, but you should always be focused on the why, because the why is what's going to keep you going. At the toughest times, when you've lost all understanding or when you've lost all cognizance in terms of why you even went into that business, it's the why that's going to drive you. So a wise gentleman says that as people or as entrepreneurs, we're motivated by 2 things, either by the pain of a thing or by the pleasure of a thing. So one needs to identify what their vice is and stick to it. So
I always emphasize this on the show, that when you're going to start a business, you should address a need, ideally. Address a need. Is this where the why comes in also? Yeah, definitely.
The why more than anything covers the drive, right? And the identifying of the need is the fixation in and around delivering value for the clients, in adding value throughout, whether it's through a unique selling proposition or through a problem that you're uniquely or disruptively, or whatsoever the formula that you utilize to service that need. That becomes a different. But this now then focuses on the individual, because there is no purpose in us developing the jockey and not the horse, because once you develop the jockey, it doesn't matter what horse they're on, the business principles are the same. They will succeed.
I know that we only have about 2 minutes left. Let's take a look at the next one. Be value driven.
We touched on it now. Deliver value, be fixated in over delivering. So you'd rather over deliver and under promise.
And let's take a look at the next one. Disrupt yourself or be disrupted. I love this one.
We've seen it with your Nokias.
Yeah.
I won't mention other brands. If you don't disrupt yourself, someone is waiting around the corner to disrupt you. So always think of new innovative ways to drive convenience, efficiency for your clients.
And finally, get things done.
Talk is
This
cheap.
is your motto.
Talk is cheap. I believe talk is cheap. Numbers don't lie. People talk about people who think they know what they're doing. People who talk about people who have changed history. But at the end of the day, the true custodians of success are the people who go out there and they get things done. So get off the chair and get things done.
Bulelani, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
I really
much.
enjoyed our time together. Well, if you're watching at home, behind me is all the tips that Bulelani has shared with us today. They'll also be available on our digital channel and also on our app. We have an SABC app. This feature will be loaded there and you'll be able to get all the SME tips for today. So what's important is that today we are introducing a new, I call it a small nugget on the SME on point. We're asking you to send us a tip or a quote, right? As a small business person or as an entrepreneur, we say that, you know, what is that one thing that gets you up in the morning, you know, that keeps you driving, that keeps you going as an entrepreneur, one that will also inspire others. So we are asking people to send them to me you can use the hashtag SME on point. And our very first one is from Mahlatsi Mashau. She's the founder and CEO of Balala Flowers. I think you can find them on social media. And she says, start with what you have, claim your position, and never apologize for being great. And that is Mahlatsi Mashau at Balala Flowers. And with that, I'll take a short break. And before we get to the weather details, Arabile and Nastasia will be back with the news headlines at the top of the hour.